and always come and ask questions in person. Please. There is nothing better than people coming to ask questions. It means I get to talk to people, rather than sit in my office alone, like some creepy loner guy who's plotting, a bombing on a bus or something, because that's often how I think I come across to people, and you know what? That's not far away. But, please come and ask. After your lectures, always review. Even if that review is really short, even if the lecture, like today, isn't, like, content-wise something you're going to be writing an assessment about, go over it. Just quickly have a look again to jog your mind of the main points. Now, when you're reading through anything, always do this. Always read something once, stop, read again. Never read it just the once. First time though, just read it. Then, second time round, that's the time for highlighting notes, getting ideas down. Get the thing first read, so you already are approaching it to take notes and approaching it to do a summary when it's already there. That makes it so much easier. I read probably upwards of 80 books a year. That's my job. That's another part of my job. That's what I'm paid to do. I read them once, then I go back. Now what I do with books is I put little tags in them. These are the things which I think I should go back and read again in the book. Normal book, I might have 25 to 50 of those tags. Then when I go for my reread, I know what's coming. And when I was reading it, first of all, that is something that I should focus on the second time. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll take note of that. I'll put that quote down. Well, that's an interesting piece of research I've never seen before. Bam. And it speeds up my second read through. But I always read the whole thing again. This is how I get knowledge. This is how I'm a doctor. But that's basically it. That's how I know all this shit. There's no trick to it. Anyone can do it. Once you've done that, go do something else. Right? Reading all the time is no fun. I mean, it can be, it depends what you're reading, but please, always give yourself a break. And when you're highlighting and underlining stuff, there is an inverse relationship between how much you highlight and how much you know. Let me tell you that. People who've got like page of A4 and like everything is highlighted on it, what the fuck is the point of that? Highlighting is for the important stuff. If you think all of it is important, guess what? You ain't read it. You were just sitting there with a highlighter going, yeah, well that's how, yeah, well that's got a the in it, and oh look, there's the letter J. You haven't read it. You haven't taken the time to think about this. Let's take 5, and then I will go through the rest of this. And I'm way behind, as always, with my slides, so second half might be fast. So you come down the stairs, watch the cable. I don't need a health and safety plate. I'm not impressed. I would probably be late, that's my name. Just late. Okay.
It's kind of like yeah, nothing is gonna be anyone.
This is something that international so it's nothing to worry about. It's
I think the way you I might try to because I've been struggling
I'm going to show me that in I knew you'll cost me things like that. Can you please just drop me one line. Do you want a specific time, just one all day?
All day is fine. Very good. Don't know why. I think it out. I'm trying not to interrupt.
I'm just making sure you're not in shot, so you can be embarrassing for people when they're at the back of their head.
Yeah, I don't have the best haircut as well, so.
Next week mine will be exactly the same, don't
I
worry.
went to work and they pointed out straight away, they were like, one side's longer than the other.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it's not good.
I have
Show you.
best thing in cost cutter.
Modules. Slow down.
What a bit. What a bit.
So, then you'll have to go through each one. Yeah?
Not really that.
With Canvas,
Yeah,
for me, week 3 is blocked off. Is that because we haven't done the assignments yet?
that's because you haven't done week 2 yet.
We're not. I've looked at most of it.
Most of it.
I don't know if I've looked at every single thing. That's probably why.
So when that happens,
I think it might be that I haven't looked at the lecture slides. That's probably the one thing I haven't done.
yeah,
Week 2 is unlocked. I've looked at week 1.
there you are. Very straightforward. Very straightforward.
Yeah. It's probably helpful though to encourage me.
A couple of years, yeah, well, yeah, that's why I'm trying,
The
that's
motivation.
basically I'm making you do the reviewing part, you know.
I can do it.
A few
The
years ago there was
motivation.
a glitch,
Yeah.
so if you do that and it's still not showing up, do me a favour and let me know, and I'll, it's not resetting it, because I mean everyone will have to do it again, but I will adjust week 3 so it'll skip you straight in, alright?
Okay. So. You don't like as soon as he walks out here,
Somebody give me a piece of
like, I don't know about this.
Take it out of the bag.
It takes a lot of change.
I have one.
So maybe in the back.
I personally love this process of engaging with my but the slides are there.
Okay, so I know there's still people come in, but time is against me today again. As this, you would think after 24 years I would get better at time, and I prefer to think of it as timeless. So, let me just briefly explain, because again, I never think this is explained very well, who the hell the people are at the front of the room. Academics are not teachers or college lecturers. We're called lecturers. I'm not called a lecturer. I'm an associate professor. But obviously I do lectures and what have you. I used to be a college lecturer for a long time, in my 20s. I worked in Bristol teaching A-level media studies and A-level psychology and A-level philosophy until I got to the point where it was like, it's either them or me. I will either kill everyone in my classes or they're going to have to kill me, one of the two, and I think that's probably the time I should quit. We have different roles, different responsibilities, and definitely different levels of sanity. Some of my colleagues are relatively normal, you know, like Richard and like, you know, Elena's kind of normal, but she's from Newport, so she's not that. And then there's like the other scale, there's like me, who's clearly a mentalist. There's Will, who isn't around at the moment, but when he's back and you get him in the second year, you'll see that, I mean, he should be in some kind of institution. And a few others who are definitely skirting on, you know, they need surgery in a big way. So, yeah, it is a range of people. We are not teachers. Okay? Just been through this little dance here. Don't call me sir. I am not a sir. Right? I have done disgusting things. It is not fitting to use that epithet for me. Please don't call me Dr. Evans. I am not going to prescribe you something. It's weird. Right? That is my title, yeah, but you know, I'm not one of these people who goes around and says, yeah, you have to call me doctor. It's like, that just leads to problems. You know, it's like some twat is going to ask me for paracetamol. I'm like, no. Please call me Leighton, that's my name. You know, that's the only name I've got. You know, use it. Don't call me like twat. You can, but you have to get it. Not in first year. Like second year, I'm probably okay, but third year, knock yourself out. But, you know, I need to get to know you guys first, all right? Before we can get to that level. Now, what do we do? I am not on a teaching contract. I am a researcher. My job is to conduct and produce research on the topics which I am engaged in at that point in time. For the last 5 years, I've been doing research on virtual reality, augmented reality, and video games, or what I like to call immersive media. And I think, well, Leighton, what do you produce? I said, well, yesterday, I had a book come out about it. It's my second, my third book on this topic in the last 4 years. So this is the kind of stuff I produce in my research. As part of my research, I engage students. I have a research lab. Now, I'm currently refitting it, but when it is refitted, there will be VR stuff in there, there will be gaming stuff in there, and I'm always looking for volunteers to work in that environment, and you basically get to hang around and mess around with some really cool shit all the time you want to. In a couple of weeks' time, I'll put an advert out for that, so if anyone is interested, you can let me know. I basically engage, not in, I'll be honest with you, not in this module, because this is an introduction to media module. My academic background is in critical theory and philosophy, which is why I teach this module, because it is basically the key theoretical things you need to know for all your other modules. This is why I do this. But my other two modules, social media, I've been a social media researcher for more than a decade, and gaming, they are informed by my research. The stuff I publish goes into and shapes those modules. Shapes the content, shapes the form, shapes how you're assessed. So I teach, I lecture, design and assess this work. I also supervise people. So undergraduates will do dissertations. I work one-to-one with undergraduates, usually about 5 a year. This year I've got some people doing stuff on loot boxes. I've got some people doing stuff on influencer culture, you know, stuff like that. I supervise master's students. I supervise PhD students. I've got 6 of them at the moment, 2 have just finished. So I've got 4. There's 6 minus 4. See? Hey, there's no flies on me. I also mentor some of you guys. Who are my mentees in this room? Oh yeah, just Lana. I don't know why Richard doesn't give me lots of first years, because he thinks that I make you alienated and kind of bitter and twisted. I'm like, he knows what he's talking about that either, right? And of course I engage in giving you feedback and reflection on your studies as well. This is what we all do, to a greater or lesser extent. I'm a researcher. Some of my colleagues are on teaching contracts, but they will also do some research as well. The way we design, the way we do things is through research. Now I can speak from bitter experience that before you came here, you were taught by people who were told what to teach. That is how pre-university studies work. During the summer, I've been working with Qualifications Wales to redesign their GCSE and A-level in media studies, for example, because they need to update it a lot because the stuff in it is not fit for purpose anymore. But ostensibly then I was taking the role of telling teachers what to teach. They don't get the freedom to design modules themselves. The modules that you do are designed by the person who is delivering them. We don't get them from anyone else. They are ours. If they blow, you know who to blame. Half the problem with like doing GCSEs, A-levels, whatever qualification it is you have no one to point the finger at and say, this sucks. And it's like, go and talk to that person if it works for whoever the exam was. You have the right to respond to you. You come up to me and say, like, that lecture on semiotics was the biggest load of shit I have ever sat through in my life. And you want to be ashamed of yourself. You want to go outside and have a long think about what you're doing with your life. I'd be like, well, thank you for that feedback. I really value your I value that you've taken time to give me this. You know? So. Oh, man. Emails. Can I have, by a show of hands, please? You've been here all of 2.5 weeks. Do you think you get too many emails? If you do, please raise your hand. And now we've got peer pressure going on. There's some people who are not raising their hand. Okay. But it's the majority. I don't know what to say. I think it's kind of ridiculous, the amount of information you guys are given, because I don't think a lot of it is important. You should have Canvas and your email installed on your phone. If you don't already, you should do that right now. But you also need to get good at filtering out the rubbish. Okay, set up. You will notice after a while that there's like some email accounts that information comes from that you never think is relevant. Click on that and filter it. Send it straight to the junk. You know, ban that sender so you never see it. I do. I'm not lying, I honestly do. It's like, you know, I'm not going to tell you who in the department, but there's a couple of people in media studies who, like, their emails instantly go into my junk folder. I have not got the time for that shit, okay? So, but do check your emails at least once a day. If you're going to send a lecturer an email, always use your Swansea University email account. Now, I say this with absolute seriousness. This is not like a formality thing. Our university email blocks so much email from external accounts you wouldn't believe. A lot of people will say to me, I sent you an email about this. I never got it. Did you send it from your Gmail account or from your Swansea account? Gmail. It will have just been never got through. So always use your Swansea account. You all have one. Always include your specific course code you want to talk about. In the subject line, drop it in. It instantly tells me, okay, I know what to be thinking of when I'm replying here. Always give information. Please give information. So, when is the thing? I've had that email. When is the thing? It's like, the thing is going to be when I hunt you down. Alright? And it will be a thing, I can assure you. Don't use Dr. Evans. I've had emails off you guys, and people say, Dear Dr. Evans. Fuck off. Please stop it. Stop it. What am I supposed to reply to that? Dear Miss? Dear Sir? I mean, email is really old school, but use it. Unless you're into Discord, then use that, because Discord's actually very quicker. Everything important that comes from the email, including your final degree certification, will come through your email account. So you have to get used to it. You have no choice. We are not moving on from it. A lot of us have always said we need to move on from email. It's not happening. Right? The university has never invested in an alternative system. It is not going to happen, so you all have to get used to it. I am sorry, because email is a 1970s technology. At the end of the day, it is 60 years old. It's ridiculous. right? But it is this. The module guide, the module handbook. In my experience, there is never a question about a module that cannot be answered by you reading the module handbook. Every year, it's in the module handbook. Where can I find this? It's in the module handbook. How do I get to the slides? Read the module handbook. How can I find out about what my assessment date is? It's in the module handbook. How can I find out what the essay titles are? Guess what? Guess what they are? Yeah. Where can I find out about how the assessment is graded? Do you see how it works? Have we got a reading list for week 8? What's the key text? Yeah? What's your email address, Leighton? Oh yeah. What time are the seminars? Oh, would you believe it? Where are the seminars? Fucking hell, are we getting it yet? What are we doing in week 4? Yes! Would you believe this shit? Unbelievable. I'm so proud. I'm so proud that you guys are learning. It's always in module handbook. It takes ages. Module handbook is a bitch, right? I've been teaching this module for 4 years now. 5 years. And so you do the first one and then you update and change and delete and whatever. So it's not so bad. But I have to do one for my new module this year. Module handbook took me 2 freaking days. And then a 3rd year student had the balls to ask me a question on Monday that was in the module handbook. And I tell you what, Josh Davis, you were lucky, because he was lucky it was 10 o'clock. So I must have felt benevolent, because I wanted to gut that pitiful little scumbag for even having the temerity to ask me a question that is in the module handbook. Always in the module handbook. Any question? The 1,000,000 to 1 shot that there is a question you have that is not in the module handbook, and you phrase that question, and I know it's not in the module handbook, I praise you. I praise you. I pray for your well-being for the rest of your life. I might leave you something in my will. You know? Won't be nice, but I might leave you something in my will. Get to know the navigation of Canvas, because literally okay, I've used the word is, I've used that verb. I might need to change it to should be there. There is some occasions where things aren't on Canvas, but not in my modules. I go overkill. Everything goes on Canvas. Everything that you need goes on Canvas. I can't speak for other lecturers. Right? Some other people have different attitudes to it. But get to know the navigation of it. If you still haven't done it, you have an exam on Wednesday. It is on Canvas. If you have not used it yet, you are going to fail your ass, because you're never actually going to take it and you're just going to get a 0. Go on Canvas, go to modules, read the frickin' module handbook, because that will unlock it. Do week 1, do week 2, bang, it'll be there, ready for you on Wednesday, or Monday as the case may be. And you will be able to pass that mother, and you'll be able to tell your friends and family, I am fucking slaying. Because I'm all over it. I know where all the information is. Where is it? Oh yeah. And I know everything on my course, because it's all on Canvas. It ain't difficult, guys. Do you know what? I'm going to skip a little bit of this, because I'm going to talk a lot about essays next week. So the last preparation thing I have to do, and I've hived it off, is what you need to do with assessments. So I'll talk about that more next week. I don't know to what extent everyone understands this yet. Okay? Your grades are going to be different in university. I know Rich talked about this a bit, but I thought it was worthwhile just reiterating a couple of weeks afterwards. Some of you are smart, and you've been through school and college and been absolutely nailing it all the way through. I mean, I'm smart, right? And I once got an award for my GCSE for having the highest GCSE in business studies ever in Wales. Yeah. Now, I don't work in business, so you can tell this didn't end well. But I got 100% on a GCSE exam once in GCSE business studies. Can anyone tell me how? My business studies teacher was thick as shit. There was no module on rubbish, but I love that answer. No, I cheated. I got 100%. Of course I fucking cheated. Kidding me? I've still got a certificate from the WJEC that says best ever result. Yeah, you're damn right it was. So I went in the room the day before, put the notes up on where the posters used to be. Nobody noticed. You're looking at me now like, no, you didn't. Oh yeah, I did. So, 100%. I wouldn't have got it in university. Okay. Highest mark I've ever seen for any assignment at an undergraduate level is 90%. That was at this institution a couple of years ago when I was moderator for media law second year module. One student who, to be fair to her, had been brilliant for me as well in modules she'd done with me and got over 80 for everything. Easily the best essay I've ever seen by an undergraduate student, and I'd argue a postgraduate student as well. It was incredible. And we agreed that it should be 90. That's about as high as you can ever get. 90 means basically we think we could have taken that essay, submitted it to an academic journal, and they would have published it with no changes whatsoever. That's what 90 means. So, I submit to academic journals as somebody who has published like more than 20 journal articles in his career. I always get asked to make changes. What I was saying there was that essay was better than what I write. That's the standard. 80 plus is incredible. I need you all to understand that. If you get 80 or 80 plus in an assignment, wow. That means we think you are slaying this course. You are doing amazing. 70 plus? Oh yeah. Or you're cooking that. You are doing amazing. 60 plus? Yeah. We love it. That's brilliant. This is the thing that people can't get into their heads. They look at something they get 60 plus, and they think, oh my god, I'm doing shit. 60's terrible. Oh mate. 60's really good. 60 in your first year, for example, something over 60 plus, that is bonkers. I need you all to understand this. Anything above 60 in your first year for an assignment, we're impressed. That's a really good standard. We want you to get better. We want you all to get 70 plus. That's where we want you to be. The 60 plus is really freaking good. 50 plus, it's kind of where you're expected to be. If you can get on this course with the entry requirements of this course, and I was to map on what those entry requirements mean in terms of achievement, 50, yeah, mid-50s to high 50s, that would be about right. So we want to get 60 plus, you have to be kind of better than where you were. Is everyone getting the picture here? One of the big problems in the first year is a lot of people get really discouraged. It's like, oh my god, I only got like 62 average, that's shit. I was like, no it ain't. You're just not listening. 62 average for your first year is fucking great. That is a springboard. If somebody gets 62 average in the first year, I'll say to them, okay, so for the next 2 years, I reckon you can get that up to over a 70 average. If you do this, this, and this, I don't see any problem why you can't make a 10% increase over 2 years. Yeah, that's well achievable. And that's where you want to be. Right? You know, those are the marks you want. If somebody's getting over a 70% average in the first year, don't come see me. I don't want to know you. You suck. You're obviously taking this shit far too seriously. You need wider interests. Of course, this is what we want, right? We want this. But the reason why I bring this up is that people get super stressed out. You are in year one. You have, with the exception of some in the room, you have never done this before. If your first written assignment comes back and it's like 62 and you think, shit, that's terrible. I'm telling you now, it's not. It's really good. Look at the feedback to see how you turn that 62 into a 65, 68, 70, 72, 75. That's how you get better. Look at the feedback to tell you what you can do extra to make it up to there. But if you get 62, damn, you've done well. The reason why I segregate these two marks out is because society does. Alright? I think if you get a degree, obviously fail is not a degree, right? But if you get a degree, you've done well. It doesn't really matter what the classification is to me. I think you've done really well. You've achieved something. You've achieved something really important. You don't have letters after your name for the rest of your life. You know, you've got something. Society tells us that these are the only things that matter. For a lot of jobs, a lot of professions, you will need a 2-1 degree or higher. If you want to become a teacher, 2-1 degree or higher. You want to go onto a graduate trainee scheme, it's usually 2-1 degree or higher. A lot of master's courses, 2-1 degree or higher. It's not my decision. I didn't make the rules, unfortunately. I don't agree with the rules. I think it's ridiculous that what you do between the ages of usually 18 to 21 should shape what you're able to do for the rest of your life. I think that's the most absurd thing all the time. But it is what it is. That is why I make that. So, really, we want you all to be up there, okay? This year counts for nothing formally, but your grades in this year will always be available to anyone who asks for them. Second year is 1/3, third year is 2/3. You never redeem fails in the third year. Don't fail. Repeat after me. I will not fail. If you need more time, I can't help. It's not that I don't want to. I would love to help, but I can't. The university for many years has taken it out of lecturers' hands to help you if you need more time. There was all sorts of shit going on that I am not going to get into here. A lot of it really grim. I can't help. You cannot ask me for an extension. I mean, you can ask, but I can't give it to you. I don't even have the power to do it. If you ever need an extension for your work, you contact the student services team in the digital tech team, on the ground floor digital tech team. Either go to see them or send them an email. They will give you the forms to apply for it. I don't even have access to the freaking forms. Okay? They don't. They cut us out of the system completely. Every year, somebody says, "Do you think I can have an extension on this?" What am I supposed to say? You know? Basically, the answer is no. I don't think you can, because you can't even email the right person to ask. It's really problematic. I will obviously send you the email address if you did that, but I can't help. Right? And I understand why. I really understand why. But there is a system to go through. The people who work in that office are really, really nice, to be fair. I wouldn't say that about a lot of people in the university, but those guys are actually pretty sound. This is coming up shortly. This university is fucking crazy, okay? We're having mid-module feedback on this module next week. I haven't even started teaching you fuckers yet. And they want you to feedback to about my performance as a lecturer. I haven't even begun yet. You might think, Leighton, you're not a fan of feedback, is it? But that will be a lot. I am a massive fan of feedback. I love feedback. I love when people give me good scores because it gives me that dopamine hit, like having 100 likes on an image on Instagram. It is sweet as it comes. That's not the point of it. Far too few students do module feedback. Most of you, at some point in the next 3 years, are going to bitch out at somebody because this shit is costing you so much money. Oh my God, I'm going to be like 50 grand in debt. Yeah, you are. And the vast majority of you can't even be fucking bothered to talk to killing feedback about your experience. You're investing the rest of your lives into something, and you can't even be bothered to take 3 minutes to say if you enjoyed it or not. It's insane. Every year, get like, oh, I really want to do this module, but it's with this lecturer, and I hated her lectures, or hated his lectures last year. So, oh really? What did you say in the module feedback? I didn't do it. So, you really didn't like the module, and you had an opportunity to tell the person exactly what you didn't get on with, but you didn't, and now you feel you can't go forward with that stream of the course because you didn't take 2 minutes to tell them. In a document that they have to action changes on. Because when we get module feedback, we have to put that into a module review, and we have to say how not only that is going to affect what that module is taught, but every other module that we do is taught. And you couldn't do that. No, come on. And I'm like, you have to leave before I insert a fire extinguisher into you. Somewhere. Because you are, at that point, almost as big a waste of space as the person who doesn't turn up. Module feedback is incredibly important. I want to know. I want to know what you like, what you don't like. I want to know, if you like my jumper or you don't like my jumper. I want to know everything, because it makes me better. And if it makes me better, that means you do better. And the way that we get better is being told by people who we are supposed to be providing a service for how to be better. If you're pleased, do the module feedback and say so. And say why you're pleased. Because that means you get more of that stuff. Yeah? If you're not pleased about something, put it in. Believe me, those who put in the module feedback, I wish Leighton could swear less. It's not fucking happening. But never ever been taking any of that advice at all. Always be offering suggestions to your lecturers. And what I mean by that also is, if you think they're doing something really good, you tell them. They are more likely to do that thing. Okay? If you think the Canvas site is really well put together and gives you lots of stuff, tell them. They will do it for the rest of their modules. If you think they need to put more stuff on Canvas, tell them. They will put more stuff on Canvas. Last year, I did this module, but I was off for quite a bit of it because I was having an operation, right? But I did another first year module, MS-100, 120, which I'm not doing this year, because they're taking it off me. 4 people did the feedback, out of 108. What a waste of time. Now, second years were really good. I had 64 second years in my social media module, 50 of them did the module feedback. Brilliant. I was delighted. Loads of good information came out of that. Really, really good. I've made changes for the guys going into the second year this year. Not much, but I've tweaked a lot of stuff so it'll make things easier. Especially around giving them examples for the assessments. I've kind of sharpened up what I've been doing with that, and that should be really useful for those guys. You have to do this. I want the university to make this mandatory. Everyone has to do it, but they won't do that because they suck. SES, right? Now the NSS, you'll see NSS scores talked about all over the place. This National Student Survey. Our department is, according to the NSS, the 3rd best department in the UK for media at 97. That's in terms of student satisfaction. Are we the 3rd best department? No, we're not. Okay? I don't know what the top 3 departments are. I have no idea how you come up with that criteria. I have no clue. Right? Because each department's different and other things are good at, not good at. So it's a nonsense, right? But we're really good at getting people to fill this in. There is a first and second year version of this. And like last year, first years, again, about 100 on the course, 2 took the 8 minutes it takes to complete that. You even get free pizza for doing it. Unbelievably. They were giving away free pizza and only 2 people could be bothered. In the summer, we have to go to a meeting about that survey to say like how we're going to improve. It's like, well, nobody does it. Do the frickin' surveys. You will have mid-module surveys next week. They're really straightforward. Just click on it. It's on Canvas, right? My surveys will come up next week. Click on the button, go to the module. The mid-module ones are literally like 2 questions. You know, I don't know what it'll be for this one. Do you want to kill the lecturer? Yes or no? You know, I'm expecting it to be about 80-20. You know, do you feel that the lecturer is going to have an embolism? On a scale of 1 to 5, I go 4. So, please do this. I cannot iterate enough. This is so important. I have started metricizing this in the second year. I count how many people do the mid-module survey, and then that's how many drafts that I read. Right, so last year, that meant all of them did it, because they all wanted their drafts read for stuff. Managing your time to do that, I could really, really do with managing my time better in these lectures. For assessments, this is really important. I don't know if anyone else has said this to you yet. The golden rule. Right, well, next week you've got a multiple choice open book test. You do not need to be starting 4 weeks in advance for that. Any other formal assessment you have, you started 4 weeks in advance. That means you should already have started assignment 2 for this module. So at the end of this, I suggest you go off and start it. But at least read in the chapter that I've given you to read. This is the way to do it. If you start 4 weeks in advance, that means you can get a draft to a lecturer for them to come back with feedback to you before you submit in lots of time to action that feedback. I know your due date for your essays on this is January the 13th. I know some of you are going to be emailing me on the 10th, 11th and 12th. Can you read my draft and give me feedback? 10th and 11th I'll do it. 12th I'll delete your email. I'm not giving you feedback with 1 day to go, because the feedback I'll give you will take you longer than 1 day to do. What's the point in me just giving you pointless feedback that isn't going to improve your mark? The way I give feedback is, I'll tell you what to do to improve this shit. What am I going to do? What are you going to do in 1 day to do that? It's pointless. Plus, you know, I might have other things to do. Maybe, you know. This isn't the only module I teach. You aren't the only students I have. You know? So you always have to be working in advance. That means you should already be done. Go to the Centre of Academic Success if you've got any issues with anything. Those guys are cool. Office hours. Oh my God, office hours. Yeah, you can tell me when my office hours are. Now, where'd you find out? In the fucking module handbook. Oh yeah. If you have any questions about anything, come see me. I will know the answer. Because I'm like that. Okay. I've now got 10 minutes to go through referencing with you, which is not enough time. Who can tell me what referencing style we use in this department? APA version 7. If you didn't know that, write it down now. APA version 7. Not version 6, version 7. The referencing guide that you need to read for Wednesday is APA version 7. It is on Canvas. I wrote it. I have actually updated it before this lecture because I spotted an error. I have corrected that error. It's in a bit that probably wouldn't have mattered for anyone, and it's actually weirdly something that I'm not asking about next week. But APA 7, not 6, not Harvard. We do not use the Harvard referencing system. Nobody does. If you've ever heard Harvard referencing, I guarantee person who told you is wrong. Harvard referencing means that you have an abstract at the beginning of your document. If you're not doing that, you're not using it. You are using APA 7. I'm just going to do, actually, let's pull back a second. There's a kid a few years ago, right? This session comes up to me and says, yeah, I don't think I'm going to use referencing. What? So, well, I don't really like to read other people's stuff. I like to have my own ideas. Kid failed so hard. I mean, I couldn't have failed him harder. If I had picked him up, and he was only small, so I picked him up over my head and slammed him into this desk, that would have been less of a fail than his final than his first year results. It was spectacular. I think his average was like 21% or something like that. Can anyone tell me why you need to know how to reference? Hand up to it.
Otherwise it's academic plagiarism.
That is the answer Richard Thomas would give you. But it's not, he's not wrong. If you don't reference, it will be plagiarism. You will be using other people's knowledge as your own. You plagiarise, you fail, you plagiarise twice, your ass is out the door. Plagiarism is not something you want to do.
Like, you're supposed to get your ideas from somewhere, so if you're referencing someone else's ideas, you can then, like, get your own opinions from that, or, like, disagree with that.
So close to the truth that it is actually physically painful to stand here and look upon you at this point in time. No.
Make it clear and easy for marking.
Oh yeah, well, that does that, yeah, does that. This answer was brilliant in so many ways. You are supposed to get your ideas from somewhere. Yes. Do you know why? I don't want you to feel bad about this, okay? You guys, a lot of you are still teenagers. Okay? I don't give a fuck what you think about anything. You have not lived. You know nothing. Now, that will change. As you go through life, that's going to change. You're going to be really valuable members of society. But at this point in time, do you think I care about your opinion? Hell no. Everyone's got an opinion. I couldn't give a shit about anyone's. Your opinion does not interest me. Your opinions are valueless, worthless. Your knowledge is a different story altogether. And your opinion, combined with knowledge, equals an argument. Now I do care. Now I'm listening. Without knowledge, indicated by referencing, then you have one thing missing. And that word, my friend, is credibility. As academics, at this point, and you're being asked to write academic essays, you have no credibility. Guess what? Neither do I. That book that came out yesterday, hundreds and hundreds of references in it. Because I acknowledge other people's work and take their ideas on board when I'm discussing the topic. That is what we do. If you feel that your approach to this course will be to give your own opinion to an answer, and that'll be the end of it, you will fail. You will bomb. In fact, you will not just fail, you will fail worse than anything that has ever failed before. I really want somebody to do it. I don't want you to ruin your life, but please, somebody have the balls to do it, because it'd be so good. It'd be amazing. You reference because your views have no credibility whatsoever. You look to the views of others that have credibility, that have put forward theories and done research on things to support the arguments you are making in an essay. This, my friends, is why we reference. We reference in order for our work to be credible, for our arguments to have academic credibility.
If you don't reference, you have not written an academic essay. You fail. You fail at the most basic thing you have been asked to do, which is write something in an academic style. If you don't reference, you haven't done that. You fail. Get the hell out of here. Hit the bricks. It's not for you. The foot golf place might be hiring for somebody. Keep an eye out. If you don't reference properly, follow the system, what happens to you? You fail. It's like driving a car. Some of you drive, right? Yeah. Some of you passed the driving test. Imagine if you just decided, nah, fuck it, the brake is no longer the brake. It's now the brake is now the accelerator. You cause carnage everywhere you go. You go to jail for being a dangerous driver. You're not fit to be this person. You fail. If you can't reference properly, you can't do academic work. You fail. You're out. You're done. This would be a real problem if academic referencing wasn't so fucking easy. Right? It is incredibly easy. A lot of really, really dumb people, like, academics, some of the dumbest people I know have got PhDs, alright? They can do it. If they can do it, you can do it. So, what should you reference? Everything. And I mean this, everything. I get this MS-100 at 120 in media history, do my Sweden. People would say, right, cinema started in 1895 with the invention of the cinematography system by the Lumiere brothers in Paris. Next sentence. It's like, what, you were fucking born with that information in your head? You read that somewhere. Where's your reference? Oh, it's a fact. I didn't think I had to reference facts. What, you didn't know it before you read it somewhere, pal. You reference it. Anything that you have got from a source, you reference. I mean it. You will get busted down marks anything you don't reference that we know is from a source. So you reference everything. That means you get in the habit right away of writing down where you got stuff from. Yeah.
How do we reference the information you give us?
You don't.
Can you process our...
No. Because I know it came from me. It's a really good question. How do you reference the lecture? You don't. Lecture's not for you to reference. You go away and do the reading. That's where you get the information from. Lectures never get referenced. I give you the ground by which you go off and find the stuff that you reference. I even give you the reading list. Where'd you find the reading list? In the module handbook. Who would have thunk it? In the module handbook. See how it all fits together now? Guess what? The module handbook is referenced. Oh yeah, bitches. It's got a bibliography. What is a citation? That's when you acknowledge other people's work using a direct quotation always. Oh yeah, this is the other thing. If you use a quote and you don't reference that quote, I'll fail you instantly. I will give you 0. Any quotation that is unreferenced is an instant 0. As far as I'm concerned, that's just basic plagiarism. You've just taken literally what someone else has said and called it yours. That's got to be the definition of it, right? How do you reference? Author's name followed by the date of publication. For example, this dude, or Evans 2022, or whatever it is. Author's name means their second name, their family name. It does not mean their first name. It does not mean their initials. It just means their family name. That's it. I don't want to know what their first name is. I don't like to pry into their business. I just want their family name. I don't need anything more. I don't need their initials. I don't need to know that their middle initial is D. That's too much information. What name do you use? No, when you're referencing. What name?
Last name.
The last name. I'm going to ask again. One name. Which name do you use in a reference? Last name. Okay, repeat after me. Last name only. Maybe it'll get through. It never fucking seems to though. But maybe it will. Okay. If you quote an author, you include the page number that that came from. You will know this because you obviously looked it up. If you're quoting somebody that has no page number, and it does happen, you use N.P. Can anyone tell me what N.P. might stand for?
No page.
No page, it ain't no rocket science in this, okay? Okay. That at the bottom is exactly what you do. You have your little thing that you've taken from someone, name, last name only, the date, the page number. Referencing done. It's that straightforward. Do we have any questions? No? Sweet. What?
When you use
What?
when you use Google Scholar to like find kind of academic papers and stuff,
Yeah.
would it be useful to kind of have like the links maybe at the bottom of the page or something, so you can like, I don't know, is that like something that
That's not a bad idea.
makes sense?
Interestingly, Google Scholar will also do the bibliography for you. Under every academic paper, there's a little row of blue lighting. One of them is cite. Hit cite,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
brings up the reference for you in
Yeah.
the format that you want it. Referencing in the text, if there's two authors, you give both their surnames or last names. If there are more than two, just the first one. We don't want a huge string of names going on here. Williams et al. Will do. Quotations from journals are the same as books. That point there about citing sources that you've not read directly, that is an important one for assignment 2. Okay? If you've not read something directly, you should say, okay, what that person cited it as in this thing, which you then put that thing into the bibliography because you didn't read the original. Don't worry, we're going to be going all over this tomorrow as well, so I am skipping through really quickly, and we are over time. Unfortunately, there's not anyone coming, so I'm going to keep you right until 4 o'clock. In the bibliography, you can divide into texts and websites, but never split into journals and books. Okay? I've put that thing about texts and websites. Don't use websites ever in an academic essay. Okay? I'll repeat that. Don't use websites ever in an academic essay. Can anyone tell me the simple reason why?
Anyone can create a website and put what they want on it,
That is true. So what does that mean?
but it's not all going to be correct.
That is also true. Lana's hitting them out of the stadium right now. She is lining them up and pinging them, but she is not hitting the big dinger that will get her the $1 million contract.
It's not credible
Why?
because it's not trusted sources.
Why?
Anybody can change it.
Well, depending on the website. That's a Wikipedia argument. Okay.
More accurate.
It could be accurate.
No credibility.
No credibility, possibly. Okay, let me put you all in misery. Academic essay, academic sources. The clues in the title. If you are writing an academic essay, which you always will be doing, you use academic sources.